Hi, my name is Sruti. I'm an author and spiritual teacher who discusses my experience of awakening in chronic pain. In 2018, I had an allergic reaction to an ear piercing, and my face went from looking like this to looking like this in a very short amount of time. I learned that in times of pain, instead of being just an inconvenience or something to push away, pain can be used as an eraser. It can erase all the layers of who we are not to find out who we truly are. For example, when we're in intense pain, there's no time for thoughts, so we realize we are not our thoughts. There is no time for feelings, so we realize that who we are is free of feelings. When pain becomes very intense, we may even lose control of the body and realize that we are not our bodies. We are brought back to the present moment, to that silent awareness. And from there, if consciousness itself starts to fade, we realize that we are the one who knows consciousness itself, can see its coming and going, and yet we are not affected. We are all this silent seer, the one who sees but cannot be seen, the root and the base of who we are. From this place, we realize that pain has shown us the strength of who we are, the foundation of who we are, and also the foundation of all of life itself, where life itself comes from, and where God itself, himself, herself comes from. Today, I want to talk about what is happening with Trump in this post-election period. When we believe that God is only a man, we see men and people like Trump as what I call false Godmen, men who have become so powerful that they actually see themselves as mini gods in the world, where women and people of color and those who are not seen as gods in traditional religion are subservient, secondary, and lower on the hierarchy. I often talk about the role of pain in how society functions, that if we do not know that pain is used as an eraser to find out the source of God, to find out that actually we are all made of God, not just the Godmen, and that actually we are all equal in spirit, then instead we might mistakenly use pain to blame other people and make them into objects. When we make other people into objects, we create oppression itself. We dehumanize people. We make them into objects upon which to place that blame, and objects can be placed in hierarchies, in patriarchal hierarchies, where some people win, some people lose, some people are better, some people are worse. It is the source of social inequality, racial inequality, and economic inequality. If we only view God as a man, then this shows us who is in power and who is not. If we go back to the myth of Adam and Eve, we see that Adam was said to be created directly from a male God, who then created Eve from his rib, or some nonsense. And so we see the hierarchy is already set up. God is a man. God gives power to men who are like mini godmen in society, and gives no power to Eve, who is then blamed for the fall of man, thus making her into an object of blame, and especially an object of sexual violence and rape. This is rape society. This is blame society. This is scapegoat society. And this is a society of oppression. This is the society we currently live in. This is what the election is perpetuating. Trump as a godman with unlimited power, Musk as a mini godman supporting the big godman, and a whole bunch of enablers, people acting from fear and greed to keep this man in power, where his power is not based on any kind of godliness or worthiness, but instead only on fear and money. I believe, as I've said in previous videos, that Trump's position was not earned. I believe there is election fraud. I believe that Trump cheated in this election, and I believe he is utilizing blame, as he did in his campaign, to take people's fears and pain and make it seem like the Democrats missed the mark, that Harris is herself responsible for the loss, and that we all voted in a man who sees himself as some kind of godly savior, when in fact he is really only a false God-man. By exposing blame society, where this behavior comes from, that actually it's rooted in our relationship to fear and pain, we can have the strength to challenge this election. I always thought that Harris should call for a recount, that we have every right, as Trump called for a recount when he believed the election was stolen from him, when in fact it was not. We also have that right to ask, is this really legitimate? In the meantime, I've had 1,000 thoughts come to me as to what might have happened in this election. I feel that Musk might be involved in the cheating. I feel there may be some kind of technological cheating going on. It's possible that some election officials were corrupt, were paid off to either miscount votes or discard votes. I believe that mail-in ballots may have been discarded or quietly pushed aside or just not counted at all. I believe it is possible there has been fraud in this election, and I believe it is possible for a prosecutor like Harris to prosecute Trump and to find out where this fraud may have occurred. In the meantime, Trump is using blame to distract from the fact that he may have cheated and to make it seem like the Democrats and Harris are to blame, thus further oppressing a group of people who are already oppressed, further oppressing a candidate, a black woman who is traditionally at the bottom of patriarchal society. This is simply a tactic, and he is relying on fear in order to keep this in place. I believe that if there was election fraud, that this would be unprecedented, but everything is unprecedented these days. I believe it would be possible to overturn this election. And if there is fraud, certainly his win would be void. I am asking anyone who feels that this may be what's going on to comment, to share this video, and to bring forth your ideas as to what may have happened during this election, and also to keep the faith and the courage to challenge something that may be deeply unfair and that may perpetuate oppression and unfairness on this planet. Beware the false God-man. Do not fall victim to that kind of propaganda. Men and women are equal in spirit, are equal in consciousness, and are equal at the source of who we are, as are all people on this planet. And men like Trump should not have the power or the authority or the godliness they claim to have. Thank you.